In this video, I'm going to tell you some healthy habits you should adopt in 2020. If you want to control your body and your life, then hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to check out my free 7-day challenge, Stop Overeating in 7 Days. There is a link in the description box. Some of these habits that I'm suggesting to you are habits that I developed in 2019, and I want to share them with you. They're really cheap. You can start them today. It doesn't take a lot of effort, but they're going to have a massive impact. And those are the best habits. The ones that are easy to implement and have immediate results and immediate effects on your life. Those are the ones that you want to do. Stopping overeating, overhauling your diet, those are really hard. And you're not going to do that in one day on January 1st. Trust me, I've tried it 10, 12 times. Never worked. These you can do. Okay, the first one is taking supplements. And I'm not talking about ergogenic aids or the stuff that cyclists use or athletes are using. I'm not talking about that. No steroids, no PEDs. What I'm talking about is stuff like this. This is over-the-counter stuff, and let's go through this one by one. The first one is this big gel cap. See that? Woo! This is 1 gram of fish oil. This is a combination of EPA and DHA. I can never pronounce the names, so I'm not gonna try. Everybody should be taking at least 1 gram of these, if not 2 or 3. These are really critical for brain function, nerve health, and they're anti-inflammatories. I spent $30 to get 90 of these, so this is 33 cents a pill, maybe a little more than that. I use Flame Out fish oil. You can find it on Amazon. I don't make any money if you buy it, but this is my preferred one. I take at least 1 a day, if not 2. Okay, the next one is magnesium. Magnesium is important for bone health, but I also find that it's really important for sleep quality and mental health. It stabilizes me. I'm not as foggy during the day. I fall asleep really well, even if I have caffeine at night. This is literally a 5-cent pill. You can get a giant one at any drugstore or any convenience store. It also lowers blood pressure and it regulates energy metabolism. Next one is zinc. This is good for skin health. It's good for immune function. And guys, listen, it's also good for your sperm count. This little guy right here can produce a lot more of other guys. If you take it. I haven't tested it, so don't ask me. But zinc is really hard to get. You usually have to eat stuff like lamb and pork and animal sources of meat. So if you're not eating those kinds of foods, and it's really hard to get your RDA or your recommended daily allowance, I highly recommend 1 tablet of zinc. The next one is this little guy right here. It's another little gel cap. It's vitamin D3. We produce it naturally in the summertime, but I'm making this video in the winter. In fact, tomorrow, as I record this, it's the shortest day of the year, and at my latitude, about 37 degrees. I'm not getting a lot of sunlight, especially when it rains 5 days out of the week. I can go to a tanning salon, I suppose. That has its own health hazards, but I prefer just to take one of these. One of these is 1,000 units, or international units, I should say. Good for bone health, and it's also good for energy metabolism. It's good for basically everything, and it's really hard to get in food. You'd have to drink a lot of milk and eat a lot of salmon. I'd rather just take one of these. And finally, with supplements, I also take vitamin B12. This is really important for energy metabolism. That's why you see those packets of B12, you know, the ones that you mix, and it gives you this huge boost. Sometimes people who have a lot of fatigue, they go to the physician's office and they'll get a B12 injection. They're like, whoa, you know, because that's why it's important. Magnesium is also important for energy metabolism. You also need B12 for hemoglobin formation too. Hemoglobin is the protein that floats in your blood and delivers oxygen to the lungs, delivers oxygen to the tissues from the lungs, so you really need B12. And if you're vegan, you should be especially concerned about B12 because there's really no good sources of B12. I guess some foods like soy milk are fortified with it, but just take a pill. Okay, let's get on to the other healthy habits that I adopted in 2019. The next one is intermittent fasting. I've made a video before about intermittent fasting. It can be really powerful. It's really healthy to do sometimes, but here's the thing, you don't have to do it every day. I know some people who start intermittent fasting and they got to do it every day. You know, they have to go 6 p.m. to noon the next day without eating, or else they're going to die or something. Don't think of it like that. I like to do intermittent fasting when it's a really long day or it's a really hectic day. For example, I'm traveling in the next few days for the holidays, so I'm going to be boarding flights and gates, and then I'll be at the airport, and the airport's not the healthiest place to be eating food. A lot of it is, you know, junky and has a lot of oil. That's a perfect time to be fasting. And better yet, you won't have to use the bathrooms and you won't get airsick. I also like to do a full day fast. I've been doing this since 2007. where one day a week I'll just not eat the entire day. So I'll go 7 p.m. one night, skip the entire day, and then resume eating 7 a.m. the following morning. So that's about a 36-hour fast. I really like doing that. I prefer doing that than intermittent fasting every day. Going a day without food, it teaches you willpower, it teaches you self-discipline. It's like you're in control of it. You feel a little fatigued at the end of one day, and especially that first morning, you can't lift as much at the gym. But I still recommend it. I've been doing it since I was 21. I think anybody can do it. Speaking of going to the gym, my third healthy habit that you should adopt is lifting heavy stuff every day. A traditional strength training regimen is something like go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do 40-minute workouts, do 2 sets of this, 2 sets of that, 2 sets of this, and then finish with some cardio. The problem with that is you're going 72 hours without lifting anything. I don't like that. So what I started doing this year is I started lifting every day. Sometimes it would just be 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. I'm working myself up to 20 minutes a day. So that's 140 minutes a week, which is about 2 1/3 hours for the entire week. I like doing that. It's frequent, it's fast, I get stronger faster. I'm not waiting around. A lot of times I go to the gym and people are sitting on the benches, scrolling on their whatever, Instagram probably. They're not being very productive and they're wasting space, which kind of pisses me off sometimes. But that's why I like lifting every day. If it's important, do it every day. And lifting weights is one of those things. Okay, another healthy habit was reducing the amount of soda that I drink. I've made another video about cutting out soda, including the diet stuff. The diet stuff it's only better because it doesn't have sugar, but then it tastes like crap and you're not really satisfied. I've never quite liked the flavor of diet soda, but I drank a ton of it when I had my eating disorder because I felt like it would give me an oral sensation without having to eat anything. But I really cut down on my soda consumption, and I recommend you do too. If you're drinking, 5-6 cans a day of the Diet Coke, I don't know, maybe get it down to 1 or 2 cans a day. There has been some research that links it to Alzheimer's later in age and various forms of cancer. I think some of that evidence is inconclusive, but still, you're wasting a lot of resources. You're going to the bathroom more than you need to. It's not good for the teeth. It's not good for the esophagus. Watch my video on why you shouldn't drink soda. It's one of those things that you should really pay attention to in 2020. Another healthy habit I adopted was using Focus Me. Focus Me is an app that eliminates distractions and keeps me focused while I do work like this. You select the programs that are really distracting you and the system blocks them for a specific amount of time. So if you're checking email all the time, you can block email for several hours, so that way it keeps you productive. Willpower only goes so far. Sometimes we need some sort of external constraint. I highly recommend Focus Me. If you want Focus Me, you can get 15% off if you type in the promo code that you see on the screen. But even aside from Focus Me, just staying focused and eliminating distractions is really healthy. One of the things that I like to do sometimes is just sit and do nothing for 30 or 40 minutes. I like to do this when I'm really distracted and I'm just doing one thing after another. I'm not really paying attention to anything, and I just need to sit down and do nothing. It's like hitting a reset button. It's like starting your day all over again. It's really therapeutic to just sit and do nothing and stare at a screen or just stare at one spot or even close your eyes. Just sit still for 30 or 40 minutes. A great way to practice this is the next time you get on an airplane or even like a bus or a train or whatever, where you're kind of a captured audience and you can't go anywhere, just sit and do nothing. You can sit the entire flight, not do anything. It's okay. You don't have to be productive 24/7, and just listen to the jet noise. It's actually really good. It's really therapeutic sometimes, and it helps you focus, and it just helps you develop that self-discipline. Another healthy habit that you should adopt in 2020 is eliminating vegetable oils. I'm not talking about olive oil. Olive oil has a lot of health benefits. They've done a lot of research on it. It's good for the heart, good for the arteries. I'm not saying you should go out and drink it. It doesn't taste that great. But if you want to put some olive oil on a plate and dip it, take the bread and dip it, that's okay. What I'm talking about is the hydrogenated oils. I think trans fats have been banned, or they're going to be banned in the United States in the next few years. A lot of food manufacturers have phased them out and they're not using them anymore, but you still have to be careful because a lot of foods have what are called hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, or like fractionated vegetable oils. I highly recommend you don't consume those, at least not in very large quantities. I've never trusted them. They're really inflammatory. We moved away from stuff like lard and tallow in the 20th century because we thought cholesterol and saturated fat were really unhealthy. Now we know that isn't true, but we substituted these vegetable oils for those healthy fats. Now we're just sicker than ever. They're not really healthy. Those omega-6 fatty acids, you really want to clamp down on those. You don't want to overconsume those. You find these fats in a lot of processed foods, a lot of tortillas, a lot of breads, because they kind of hold it together. So they provide a lot of texture and taste. When you look at the ingredients of any baked good, you want to look for the hydrogenated or the partially hydrogenated vegetable oils. Cut those out. It's really easy. There are so many options available. You don't need to eat them anymore. Another healthy habit you should adopt in 2020 is eliminating distractions in the first and last hour of the day. I like to take off and land quietly. So maybe in the morning, do some meditation, look at your goals, read a book, maybe go work out. You don't have to work out with music all the time. I've also experimented with that, just going on the treadmill or Stairmaster without using headphones and just kind of thinking about things. It's a really good way to cleanse your mind and to think about the day and think about your future. I find that I get tired of the same old songs anyway, and I don't need to listen to what's on the TV. I'm going to talk about that in the next point. But you don't need to blast your ears with music all the time. Just try the first 10 or 15 minutes without listening to music, without staring at a screen. Trust me, I think you'll really like this. At the end of the day, turn down the blue light on your screen. Most computers have an option where you can turn on nighttime mode and the screen turns orange, so it eliminates the blue light, or you can make your screen dimmer, or just read a book, or just do something that doesn't revolve a screen. You want to eliminate stimuli in that last hour. It helps you go to bed. How can you be listening to music and scrolling on social media and watching all these videos and then go to bed? You know, that you need a transition time. You need time to land. You can't go from 10,000 feet to the runway in 10 seconds. And the last healthy habit you should adopt in 2020 is eliminating politics. I know politics can be really contentious no matter where you live, but especially in the United States in 2019. Our president just got impeached this week, so that's not going to help matters anymore. We had another debate a couple nights ago, and now we're heading into another presidential cycle. Of course, now it seems like we're in a presidential cycle all 4 years. It used to start 1 year before the election. Now it's just continuous. It never stops. We have social media. We have all these pundits and bloggers and news websites and podcasts. It's overwhelming. The truth is you have very little control over the political situation. Yes, you can vote, but your vote doesn't count for much. In fact, I stopped voting in 2019, and you should consider doing the same. Now, if you think voting is your patriotic duty, then go ahead, keep doing it. I don't think anything less of you. I've just decided to opt out and not do it anymore. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a guest worker in this country. That way I can just detach myself to the whole political situation and I can be agnostic about it. One thing you should do is cut down on the political discussions. If there are people in your family who you don't see eye to eye with or have a different political philosophy, they're not going to change your mind. You're not going to change their mind. Just let it be. Try to avoid listening to podcasts about politics. Avoid cable news. That's probably the worst. Don't participate in any political discussions, especially at Christmas dinner or some other event. I think Americans especially need an area that is politics free. I think a disturbing trend is the politicization of everything, how everything is becoming political. I don't think we want to live in a world like that. It's not good for our mental health. It's not good for society. Start with yourself. Eliminate politics. I also recommend cutting out the news. Turn on the daily news. What is it? It's traffic, it's weather, it's homicide, it's, this building caught on fire. Nothing is good on the news. It's just a bunch of ads and it's a bunch of information that you don't need. What you see today, you're going to forget in a few days. It's repetitive, it's boring, it's useless information. You don't need it. Like I said, cut out cable news. Cable news is very polarizing. It's designed to keep you entertained and to keep you angry, and it's designed to divide people into little groups. I don't think it's healthy for you, and I don't think it's healthy for society. What are some other healthy habits that you are going to adopt in 2020? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out some of my other videos on how to live a healthy life and to control what you eat.